Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sara Jones. For this episode, I got to hang out with the very funny and very lovable Alex Rios. Alex co-hosts a podcast with fellow Portland comedian Adam Posse called Chumba and Wumba. He has performed in the Seattle International Comedy Competition and recently performed at the San Francisco Sketchfest 2018. If you want to see Alex Rios perform, you can find information about upcoming shows and events through his Instagram at AlexRios69. That's at AlexRios69. Alex and I explored the very haunted town of Independence, Oregon. As always, if you want to find a couple pictures that go along with this episode, check us out on Instagram at Lit Dark Podcast. That's at LITDARK Podcast. Before we get into this episode, I'm pretty sure we should apologize for offending pretty much everyone in this episode. Sorry about that, and enjoy the show.
It's sorry, like smaller towns, just like creepy. It smell different. I don't know. Like it doesn't smell like the city. It smells nice.
Yeah, I was smelling it too. Yeah. It feels nice too. It feels, I mean, this is Main Street, but it feels very Main Street.
Right.
Like the idea of Main Street.
It's cool, like small towns where like after a certain, like that bar was packed.
Yeah.
And then like as soon as it got dark, everyone was like.
Well, and everyone looked at us when we walked in, like, who the fuck are they? We were like,
they were thinking,
we don't know. We're trying to figure that out every day.
Yeah. That was great.
That was great.
Oh wow. That's creepy. Like, just not like on a ghost, just weird, right?
That face?
There's just mannequins like on like
the mannequin
tripod.
heads. Oh yeah, that is weird.
There's just mannequin heads.
Well, actually, mannequins actually come up in our story.
Oh, well, perfect.
That's actually perfect. I don't know what we'll take a picture of for the Instagram, so keep your eyes out for that.
Well, there's mannequins, so there's one thing that's maybe.
Should I take a picture of that? Those are actually kind of scary. Mannequin heads.
On a tripod.
It's a salon, so that's probably, I mean, they probably have...
But no one has to know that. Yeah, it looks like maybe some kind of class, too. It's like they have, like, chairs.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're, like, practicing hairstyles, what do you think?
Yeah. Perfect.
That's it. We got it. Those are weird.
Yeah.
They all have names.
They're real heads.
They're real. It's real hair, but they're not real heads.
Yeah, it's real hair. You don't want to know where I got that.
You don't know. It's
I grew
fine.
up myself.
Trafficking. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Do not joke about it.
I'm serious.
I will sue you. I have an attorney. Oh, do you want to sit on maybe those benches?
Sure.
That's a good spot. Okay, first order of business. Let's double check and make sure we're recording. I am. Let me see yours. Yep, you are.
Cool. Perfect.
Okay. Well, get comfortable, sir, because I have a long story for you. Okay. Let's wait until Big Dick Mickey tries to
He's got Trump nuts. There's nuts on there.
Does he really? He does too.
Nice nuts.
That guy is the biggest dick out of anyone in Oregon.
He's got a huge dick.
He totally.
Can't you tell?
He has to. They don't let you buy cars like that unless they're like, let me whip it out.
Let me see that. Those are my nuts.
Okay, you earned it.
I put them back on when I turn off my car. My nuts back.
Nuts of steel. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to use my light here. Okay. So we are sitting in Independence, Oregon.
We are.
This entire fucking town is haunted, so I have a bunch of ghost stories for you.
Yes.
That's how this is going to work. Before I get started, I'm going to just run down my sources really quick. I have a book called Haunted Independence, Oregon by Marilyn Morton.
Ooh, so it's official.
It's an actual book. Read it on a Kindle. On my phone with the Kindle app. Hauntedplaces.org. A blog called Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State.
You have very nice handwriting.
Thank you. Ghosts of America. Becky called it insane person handwriting.
It's very precise. It might be.
Yeah, it's very OCD. Ghostsofamerica.com. And that's it.
That's it?
Those are my sources.
Do you measure out in between each word? Like with a ruler? It's so... I've never seen anything that perfect. I can't do anything that perfect.
Thank you. It's crippling anxiety.
You gotta shut up. It's a thing. It hurts.
It's a problem and it hurts.
It hurts my
My
mind.
bed looks impeccable right now. You saw how neatly it was made.
You'd be like...
Yeah, I would know because it'd be giving me anxiety all day if it wasn't. Like there's a fold in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Great. So anyway, Independence, the city we're in, was established as a city in 1845, 14 years before Oregon became a state. Independence claims to be the end of the Oregon Trail. That's going to get annoying as cars drive by.
Yes. Probably more truck nuts.
Yeah, more truck nuts. So anyway, this city claims to be the end of the Oregon Trail, although it's not the only place that likes to call itself that. Oregon City also claims to be the end of the Oregon Trail. Ultimately, both cities agreed to share the title, Oregon City and Independence.
Very civilly. It'd be funny if they nowadays just started a war over
like current civil war.
Yeah, they're like, no, this is where it ended.
This is where it ended. I'm sure it ended in lots of places.
Sure,
it's just like pioneers being like, fuck this.
And did it really end here, or this is just where the most people died?
Yeah, that could be. Or settled.
They're settled, yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
It's Oregon Trail. Settled means dead.
Yeah. And they're like, fuck this at this point. We're not going to make it to California. We're calling it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to eat my husband.
Yeah.
He needs to eat all my kids.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, great. It was a difficult life for pioneers when Independence was a new city. This city was plagued by floods and fires, farming and hunting accidents, drownings, and runaway cattle. But there are no early reports of hauntings, though it's not to say they didn't happen.
Right, there's no one reported it. Okay.
Yeah, they were just busy dealing with all the other shit that was going on, probably. They're like, plus there's ghosts. But who has the time?
Who has the time for ghosts?
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, but there's also farming accidents.
Who would have thought?
I don't know what that is. Maybe a cow kicking you in the face.
See, that's what I love that there's runaway cattle.
That would fuck you.
They saw the ghost
your
first.
Career.
Yeah, I know. That's your whole life.
Yeah.
That's everything.
That's your food. That's your money.
Yeah, it's your entertainment.
Well, hey, it depends on the kind of farmer.
It's Oregon Trail. It's fucking shit got weird. I'm sure.
It had to. But blame it on the ghosts. It's not written anywhere, but you know it happened.
Absolutely.
Finally, Independence caught a break with their first cash crop, hops.
Okay.
In the early 20th century, Independence was actually known as the historical hop capital of the world. Although, after World War II, hops production began to slow down, but actually now the hops production is back again, thriving in Independence. It has been since 2011.
Oh, well, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. You can even visit Rogue Farms here in Independence, Oregon.
Wow.
Anybody who lives in Oregon knows about Rogue Brewery.
Yeah,
they have great beer.
Uh-huh.
My favorite is the Dead Guy Ale.
It is good. I like it. I just can't drink a lot of it.
Well, no, you can't.
I could drink.
I can't drink a lot of beer anyway.
Yeah, well,
I drink wine usually.
Right. I could drink a lot of tequila and light beer, but I can't Dead Guy Ale or anything that's hoppy.
Yeah.
It's like drinking a blanket.
Meal. Yeah, it's a whole meal.
It's a blanket.
Yeah. But it's good.
It tastes good for sure.
It's good. Yeah, Rogue is great. Anyway, unlike some haunted places, Independence. I'm kind of drunk. I didn't notice it.
It's not right now until you're trying.
I'm trying not to slur.
Those are big glasses of wine.
You would think, I know they kind of were. You would think that those chicken wings would be enough to cover it, but I'm like slurring going through my notes.
You're drunken chicken wings.
I'm like, I didn't know that, what was it? Nitrogen? What was it called?
Nitrogen?
It wasn't the kamikaze. It was the spicier one.
Oh, yeah, the,
Nuclear.
Yeah.
Nuclear. That's what got me.
Nitrogen. That's fucking
the
wonderful.
Nuclear wings
That's
just
wonderful.
like fucked me up retarded. It's like hard to read my notes. It's not the Chardonnay I was drinking overnight.
It's the nuclear.
It's the nitrogen.
It's the nitrogen. It's got me all fucked up. Bro, you had the nitrous.
Oh,
you had
shit.
those nitrous wings.
You went to that dive sports bar?
You got those fucking nitrous wings.
Where they
bro.
do trivia on Wednesday nights?
Yeah, those fucking wings had truck nuts on them. Those fucking wing nuts. Bro.
I should have known going in. She was like, "Are you sure?"
These fucking wings are getting you fucked up.
I was like, "It's fine. I have a podcast.
Don't worry.
Hook me up."
I only have to read. It'll be fine.
I only have to read a shitload of notes I hand wrote.
They're very legible, though.
Very legibly. So unlike some haunted places, Independence is a city that seems to embrace their paranormal presence.
You can't even hold. That was fucking awesome. He just looked at me and said, I don't even know what the last thing you just read. I don't know what you said.
I just said there's funny. Fucking ghosts. Okay, great. Okay.
I just said that there's fucking ghosts here.
That's all I really said. They embrace it. Uh-huh. They're about it. You know, like there's some cities that are like, oh no, don't talk
they're
about the ghosts.
They're trying to hide it, right?
Independence is like, yeah. Like, they're here.
Yeah, I mean, which I think is, they probably did that on purpose so people would come here.
Maybe.
That's probably one of the lures.
I honestly think after doing research, I think it's just there's so many stories that they're just like, yeah, that's just like a part of this place. Yeah. So Marilyn Morton is the author of Haunted Independence, Oregon, which is a book that I used heavily for my research. She also started the first ghost walk in Independence. She outlines the stories from this awesome walk in her book, and I'll share a few with you tonight. But the ghost walk does seem like an experience worth checking out if you're in the area. Not only for the history and stories, but also because they seem to just collect more paranormal experiences during their ghost walks. I cannot. But they do, like, they do the ghost walk, and they'll be in a building, and then all of them will see a fucking ghost.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll just add it to the story, which will be like, last time we were here, this happened.
Jesus.
One of them was in, I'll talk about it later, but one of them was in this, like, Masonic building,
mm-hmm.
you know, like the Freemasons. Yeah. And this head, like a ghost head, came through the wall and just looked at everyone and left.
Dude, I believe that shit. Masons are fucking
scary.
Fucking insane.
Secret society. Yeah. I know, I agree.
Those are ghosts before they die.
Yeah.
They're ghosts before they're ghosts.
They're haunting before they're dead. I believe that Freemasons are like a secret society of like horrifying people. Mm-hmm. And they're always like, no, that's just a thing. But if you read some of the like, you can look online at like some of the things that they like swear to, mm-hmm. and it's like, I swear on my body, like I know my body will be like, I'm not quoting anything because I haven't read it in like years.
But it's like that.
But it's like graphic shit that they agree to happening to their body if they ever tell secrets of like the.
It's a fucking gang. It's a gang.
It's a gang for real of like old white men.
I know someone that is like trying to be in it.
Why?
I don't know. He's a fucking weirdo. He went to school though.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But once you're in, I think you're just in. I think it's like the Crips. Like, you're just...
It's the Crips for old white men.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. I think that building is one of the buildings we're going to talk about, that bank.
Do you know
I'm going to take a picture of it right now just to be sure.
So it's the Umpqua Bank building. You know what? It says bank on it.
It won't come up for a little bit, but we'll get to it and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I wonder if that's the one.
Okay.
So, one haunted building is known as the Cooper Building on the corner of Main and C Street.
Cooper?
Cooper.
Cooper.
C-O-O-P-E-R.
Cooper.
Originally, it was a small saloon, then later was replaced by a 3-story brick structure where it was a doctor's office, a dentist's office, possibly a brothel.
Those things tie together.
Oh, no, not at the same time. Like, over time.
I didn't think it'd be funny if it was.
All at once. You could just one-stop shop. It's like the Fred Meyer of, like, you get your doctor's appointment, you get a physical, you go to the dentist, you get fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
you get fucked. You gotta make sure you got nothing going on here.
Things,
there you go.
All healthy things to do.
Absolutely.
It's 2018. You know, it's time to...
You gotta get yourself some.
Sexual health is important.
Sure.
Very official. It also was a gambling establishment known as the Hi-Ho, and later a steakhouse called the Speakeasy. Many deaths have been confirmed in this building. One was an alcoholic dentist who stabbed himself to death.
What?
Yeah. Like, you know who else did that?
Another dentist? Or?
No, he was a musician that was really popular in the early 2000s. Elliot Smith.
Yeah.
Stabbed himself to death
in the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So this dentist did the same thing.
Maybe a little bit off base, but where I grew up and started first doing comedy was in Bend, Oregon, and there was like a mixed like media open mic, and a kid was playing the piano. He was covering Elliott Smith songs, and he stood up inside the coffee shop and stabbed himself. Did that in the coffee shop.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He was playing the Elliott Smith song, and he was like 19, and he just stood up and just
holy shit.
Open mic. And then there was like, I wasn't there, I think I was visiting a family, but I guess there were some other comedians there. They were like, so do we go up now? Like, what do we do?
Like, hey! That was fucking crazy.
Oh, shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And people probably thought it was like fake at first.
At first, yeah. I think they thought it was like a fake knife with like fake blood and whatever.
Yeah.
And then he just dropped, and everyone was just like,
call 911.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was probably, I want to say like 2011, something like that, 2010-ish, somewhere around.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
2011, 2012, somewhere around then, yeah.
That's fucked up.
It's at a coffee shop.
Can you imagine in front of an audience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just dying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy. Anyway,
it's death that fits in with the ghost thing,
that's
right?
nuts.
It's
No,
death.
thank you for sharing. So yeah, this dentist stabbed himself to death in the Cooper building. Another was an elderly gambler. I'm slurring so much. It's so bad. I can hear it happening. I'm like sober enough to tell it's happening.
Right, but you're
like tipsy enough to have it continue to happen. It's so irritating. Great.
We'll just own it. Just keep on going.
You know what?
I'll
Fuck it.
start slurring too. That's fine.
I'm from the Midwest, and that's part of the accent too. So it's like sometimes I'm like, no, it's just Michigan. It's Michigan.
This is how it is.
No, but I am also Irish, so yeah, you can assume it's probably true.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I've been drinking, but also
sure it is. Sure.
I only have one DUI. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Let's make it another one.
Okay, great. Let's not.
Yeah, it's not at all, yeah.
I don't have a dad anymore to bail me out.
Good call.
I'll cut that out because I don't think people would get it, but it was funny. Okay. So, the other ghost. So there is the alcoholic dentist that's seen there. Mm-hmm. There's another ghost who is an elderly gambler from when it was the Hi-Ho. The most recent death in the Cooper building happened only 25 years ago.
Okay.
The prior owner stood in the bar area and shot himself in the head, adding to
There's a trend.
he added to an eerie and heartbreaking string of suicides to occur in that building. In fact, it's said that the Cooper building has the highest rate of suicides in town, usually by previous owners, though it's a mystery why. Kind of like a curse.
Yeah.
At least 4 spirits are regularly seen in the Cooper building. The young alcoholic dentist and the old gambler are among them.
How'd the gambler die again?
I didn't find out.
Okay.
But he was like an older guy.
Okay.
Let's wait till this guy passes. He's bumping his hot beats. Sick whip!
Well, it's a new car.
So people tend to describe the dentist as a kind young man and a gambler as a mean-spirited, frustrated older man. The gambler tends to stay on the 3rd floor where his apartment was once located. The other 2 spirits are that of a little girl who's been seen lingering near a child-sized mannequin, and the spirit of a young woman can sometimes be seen on the stairs. The woman is believed to have been murdered, first by being choked, then by being thrown down those very stairs that she's seen on. Yeah.
Brutal.
This is crazy. So during a renovation of the building, a mannequin was thrown through a 2nd-story window, smashing the window and sending shards of glass raining down to the street below. The thing is, nobody was on the 2nd floor during the time that this happened. So I actually read about that in multiple different sources. And the book that I read, the woman who wrote all about the hauntings in Independence, she wrote about that instance as well. And she said that when she did her ghost tour, she talked about that. She's like, oh, in this Cooper building, a mannequin was thrown out of the window. Nobody was on that floor. And one lady was on her tour and she was just like, oh no, I was there. And I watched it happen. And the crazy thing is she watched a mannequin show up in front of a window and was like, what the fuck? Is that a person? And was looking and watched it come out of the window.
Are you serious?
And nobody was there. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So she actually witnessed it. And there were multiple witnesses to that event.
I was scared the fuck out of me.
It would scare the fuck out of me too. A mannequin.
Yeah.
Mannequins themselves are scary. There was this episode of The Twilight Zone with mannequins coming to life. I don't remember which one it was. It was this one where this guy was like, do you ever watch The Twilight Zone?
A little bit, not a whole lot.
When you were a kid?
I'm not super familiar now.
Okay, because like they used to have specials on Sci-Fi Channel and it was like my shit. But there was this one episode of The Twilight Zone. Somebody listening is like, yep, I know the one you're talking about. Like, I know they are. But there's this one where this guy, he's in this town where, you know in like North Korea, how they have like buildings with mannequins in it that are like set up to look like a town, but they're not? Yeah, I've heard about that. Like they have like a fake ass town. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's like a real life version of this Twilight Zone episode. Yeah. It's like that, except this guy ends up, he like goes into a phone booth at one point. He's like trying to call people, I remember. And then the mannequins come to life. I have seen that one. Yeah.
And he gets in like an
elevator.
Yeah, and there's like he's in a van, or there's like a part of the mannequin in a van, right?
They're all over they're like in a department store.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. These like living mannequins. Anyway, that's like the first thing I don't trust mannequins. I don't trust anything that has eyes and doesn't have a butthole. Yeah. No.
Like, there's like, I don't. No.
Barbies? No.
I don't trust them.
No. Okay, so another haunted building, also on Main Street. We're on Main Street right now. So another haunted building on Main Street is known as the Sperling Building.
Okay.
It's located at 114 South Main Street.
Okay.
When I wrote these notes, I figured we'd be like, that's right there. But, I mean, we're just like kind of on Main Street.
Yeah, we're...
So Albert Sperling built the Sperling Hotel in 1913. This is the one you're going to like. Originally, he named it the Lorona Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Lorona, the name Lorona, was a mashup of his 2 daughters' names, Leona and Rowena.
Say that one again.
Okay, I might be pronouncing it wrong. This is how it's spelled. Rowena.
Rowena. Yeah.
And Leona.
Leona. Rowena, that's a weird ass fucking name.
So he called it Lorona.
Lorona.
Mashing the two names together. Yeah, I know. I think Rowena got like the short end of that stick.
Oh, definitely.
Like they were like, Rowena. Maybe it's
Rowena's like the ugly kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Leona was like gorgeous.
Yeah.
She was like mysterious.
Yeah.
Okay, so much later, this building became a very popular Italian restaurant, like most recently. It was an Italian restaurant and tavern called Lenora's Ghost.
Okay.
Which has since been permanently closed, unfortunately. Or else I would have been like, let's meet there. Yeah, that's where we would have gone if that was still open. So you'll notice that the Sperling building was called the Lerona Hotel.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. But that restaurant was called Lenora's Ghost. Lenora. Lenora's Ghost. So there was a little confusion right there. So it's unclear where the name confusion came from, but the female presence who haunts the place is called either Lerona or Lenora, depending on who you ask.
Is it? I wonder if that ghost is mad. It's like, just get my name right.
Well, neither were her actual name.
It's true.
And that's what's interesting. So I was thinking maybe they just thought Lenora sounded better when they made the restaurant, but it's also been attributed to a simple spelling error when they were trying to establish the place. Like the county was like, oh, Lenora. And they were like, that's not right, but whatever. And they just like went with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when the... Rude. When the... Someone needs to get their brakes checked out, so we're going to wait till they pass.
Damn.
I get it. I really have to take my car in too, but we only have an hour drive, so it's not like it's that far.
Right.
Great. So when the building was still called Lerona Hotel, a 15-year-old girl was said to have committed suicide by plummeting through a skylight to her death.
Yeah.
She was called Lerona in the retelling of the stories based on the name of the hotel, because it was called the Lerona Hotel. I will call her Lenora from now on because it's easier. Sure.
It makes, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah. So after Lenora's Ghost opened, that's the name of the Italian restaurant and tavern. So after Lenora's Ghost opened, the stained glass skylight that Lenora was said to have thrown herself through, head first, by the way, was over the dining area of the Italian restaurant, and the original wood floor remained beneath it, complete with blood stains supposedly left from Lenora's fall, which proved impossible to remove. So they'd keep trying to remove it, and it would keep showing back up.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to still be there?
It is, if we were able to get into the building, but it's no longer a restaurant, which means we're not supposed to go in.
Right. But, that's creepy.
I know. So Lenora is not said to be a mean ghost, but she is said to be mischievous, moving things around and pushing doors open. Lenora has been seen many, many times and tends to vanish when they see her.
Wow.
So basically the story of Lenora, I didn't write it all out, but it was that she was in love with this guy who went to war. And he died at war. Got the telegraph that he died. You read that?
I read that part, yeah.
Yeah, so that's part of why she killed herself. So some people have seen her. I read a story about this lady who was driving, and she saw her in full wedding garb walking across the street. And the lady stopped because she was just kind of that lady's in an old-fashioned wedding dress.
Right,
it's kind of pretty.
What
is she doing? And then saw her cross the street right in front of her car, and then she looked in her rearview mirror to be am I blocking people? And looked back, and the lady was gone. And it was attributed to Lenora.
Damn. And how old was she?
15.
That's because I remember reading that. I remember thinking that's super young to be
Yeah, but in the early 1900s, that was pretty common.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's now, that would be equivalent to someone being 35 maybe.
Yeah.
Or something
Yeah.
I mean, you're 15 back then. You're you got your shit to get married.
Time to get to business.
It's time to jump through a skylight.
Now we're 15. We're just fighting with our parents. We don't.
I need a fucking cell phone.
I need a cell phone. Yeah. This one doesn't even text.
I can't take pictures. I thought this was a phone.
I'm supposed to be able to put music on my phone. We're like dating ourselves. But, like,
I know, right?
Kids now are like, well, we all had iPads since we were babies. I don't get what you mean. Like, remember Palm Pilots? And they're like, no.
Is that a walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
What is that?
They're like, our grandparents had those.
Yeah, right? That's how
we thought those were legend. No, I'm not that old. How old are you?
31.
Okay, I'm 28. So we're like similar ages. We're like, we're not that old, but like we're starting to tell our age. Like suddenly.
It's starting to sound like it. Back in my day.
Mm-hmm. We're like, who the fuck is that? They have a feud with who?
Yeah, right.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. There's YouTube stars now.
Yeah, what do you mean YouTube? You get on the YouTubes?
On the YouTube? What is a YouTube? Me tubes? Who's tubes? I don't get it.
Oh, whatever. Okay, so anyway, another very haunted building in Independence is the Masonic Lodge.
Oh, yes.
Its official name is the Lion Lodge number 29 of the Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons. It was constructed in 3 phases in 1892, 1898, and 1914. Masons over the years have reported lights going on and off and footsteps in the attic. At least once a month, photos in the bathroom are mysteriously turned to be hanging upside down. Once a month. You'll just walk in and see photos being turned upside down.
They'll actually see it in the act being turned?
I think they just walk in and
like,
all the pictures are upside down.
Damn.
Once a month, that's like dedication if
yeah.
you're fucking with them.
That is a dedicated ghost.
Yeah.
That is like, that's a ghost that like, you know, sets an alarm on the...
I just want to let you guys know.
On their Palm Pilot, they fucking...
They're like, yeah. Yeah, they send it by like ghost cattle. Like,
yeah, there's like
to get a telegram sent.
Yeah, they have ghost carrier
in Morse
pigeons.
code. It's time again. It's time. It's the most convenient way. Ghostly figures have even been seen escorting group members during their rituals.
Damn.
One Mason reported. So listeners, we're sitting right next to the street. Mm-hmm. So for us, the cars are like not that loud, but we know for you, it's like real fucking distracting.
We're at a monster truck rally right now, a haunted monster truck rally. So we got some big gulps.
There are a few trucks with nuts. I don't know if you've seen this phenomenon, but it does happen.
There's it's America. If you're listening to this, you don't live here. You don't live in America.
This is America.
America? This is America, god damn it.
God damn it.
We have fucking nuts on our trucks.
We've got trucks with nuts and we are proud to show them.
God damn it.
God damn it. One Mason reported looking down into a dark stairwell only to see a pair of glowing eyes returning his gaze. Countless orbs have been caught in photographs taken in the Masonic Lodge as well.
Okay.
Quick note about orbs. Before I started this show, I firmly believed that orbs were utter horseshit. Your thoughts?
Okay. I've always... I know someone that has, like, claimed to seen orbs, like, coming...
Physically, in person, right?
Yeah, like, coming, like, out of, like, their washer and dryer all the time. And I've, you know, it's hard for me because I'm like, try not to be skeptical, but also at the same time, I'm like, hey, what the fuck is an orb? Why is it coming out of your washer and dryer? Like, I am skeptical about it.
That's
because,
a
like,
weird
I feel like, because
yeah.
sometimes I try not to, but I'm like, maybe that's just like, you're just making that up. Like, just say it's a ghost.
Maybe
I don't know.
You're crazy.
It's an orb, right?
But have you considered maybe you're nuts?
Maybe you're nuts. Maybe you're truck nuts.
Bada bing.
Bada
boom. Yeah, well, I always thought they were bullshit, and mainly because I pictured like dust and photographs and stuff, because I had only heard of like orbs in photos. But since I've started this show, I've done enough ghost story interviews with people who have seen orbs that I'm like, that shit happens. Like, people that I'm like, you're not crazy.
Sure.
Like, I can tell from talking to you that you're like a reasonable person. We're like, I saw a fucking orb. And you're like, oh, okay. So maybe they're real.
And a lot of people, they just claim that it's just like a ball of light.
Yeah.
And they see it coming at them.
Yeah.
Or like past them or something.
Yeah. The ones that I've heard about have been like, yeah, they seem kind of like coming at them. But I think what it is like the thing that distinguishes it is that it's abnormal. Mm-hmm. Like people look at it and they're like, this isn't something I've seen before. And the only word for it is an orb. It's like a round ball of light. And it feels like a spirit. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen that, but who am I to judge?
You know, maybe I just want to be skeptical because all my friends are crazy.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, you know, like, all depends on, I guess it depends on, like, what you believe in, like, what happens to you when you die. Like, do you believe
no
that?
Idea.
Like, no idea, but, like, do you believe, like, your spirit, like, what happens to your spirit, right? Maybe that is your spirit. Maybe your spirit's trapped in a washer somewhere and the orb has to break out of there.
Sucks.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're like, really? A Tide Pod?
Oh, fuck, that's what I am.
You can't
Downy,
even measure.
you
can't even measure out the detergent? Fuck you.
I'm in with the dirty clothes, huh? That's where I am, huh? You know I get dizzy.
This is my hell.
I hated the fair.
This is my hell.
I hated the fair. You throw me in this.
I love the fair, so I know I'm not going there. I'll probably be in, like, where would I go if it was a living hell for me? Probably, like, anywhere with the mall. That's where I would be an orb in the mall, like, fuck. Like, during, like, a holiday season or something. Or, like, any busy time. Oh. I avoid the mall. I don't really have, like, terrible social anxiety. But I feel like I have crippling social anxiety when I go to the mall.
Right. The mall really like brings it up for you?
It does. Like, I'll go alone to be like, I should get my mom something from Bed Bath & Beyond for Mother's Day. Right. And I'll just walk in like, fuck this. like kids are running in front of me and I'm like, no.
If you go to, like, you know, like the Lloyd Center, that one's really nerve-wracking because there's a fucking ice skating rink in there. No. There's like little snotty-nosed kids with blades on their feet. Yeah. You know? Like, yeah.
Someone told me a story one time of being at the Lloyd Center Mall and they like saw someone like bleeding out on the ice rink.
On the ice?
It's not funny. That's horrible.
Pretty funny.
Someone listening is like, that was my sister. But like...
Was. Correct. Was.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. But I would be like, that would be a great day at the mall for me. Like, it'd be terrible. It would be terrible, but it would be eventful.
Yeah, you definitely remember it.
As someone who does not like the mall, I don't know what it is. It's like a lot of people around me. Like, if I go to Safeway during a busy time, if I like...
It's like too fucking much.
It's time to go to Safeway, but it's 5. I get there. Nobody's paying attention to where they're going. My dad used to always go, nobody here but you. Like, oh, yeah. That's how it feels. No one's looking. I literally went to Safeway like the other day and it was 5 p.m. I was on the phone with my sister just trying to get the shit done I had to do. And this lady in front of me starts going into the aisle that I need to go in. Like, I'm intentionally going. It was like the vitamin aisle. It was like I need like 2 things and I'm out. And I'm like going in it. She stops in the middle, not like in like the side where I could go around her. She stops, looks at something, and then backs up without looking at me. And I was like, fuck this. Right. And the entire trip was like that. And then even like driving out, like backing out, I was just like, okay, I'm clear. And then a car's like jumping in front of you and you're like, just what the fuck?
One of those times, one of those days where like you feel like everyone's just fucking stupid. Yeah. Like no one's driving right.
No one's driving right.
And no one's driving their car in the fucking store, right? Like
exactly. Everyone's distracted. Yeah. It's just like, nobody here but you. It's like it's like the best like term for it. Yeah. Like people just think that they're alone in this world and there's people around you trying to get, like that actually have a list that they're following. Like anyway, and then they were like out, like because it was like the busy time, they were like out of all the normal stuff that I get because I always get the same stuff. Like I get 2% Greek yogurt, they had no 2%, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just
where all these 2% Greeks at?
I'm like, do I go 5% or fat free? Like I don't know. What I can't handle
right I can't handle a 5%
What's
Greek.
Gonna taste better in my fridge oats? Like it won't matter. But I'm just sitting there, just like having anxiety. I always get like I see the spot where the 2% is normally, and it's empty, and I'm like, what? Like, I just...
That's Ben. I'm done.
I was just like, fuck. And then someone like ran their card into me, and I was like, no. This is my nightmare. That's where my orb would be. It would be in a busy Safeway.
Fucking grab them.
Be in a busy Safeway. And I would be looking for like feta or like some certain thing, and they wouldn't have it. And then I would ask people, like, do you ever ask, oh my God, this is such a tangent. But do you ever ask at a grocery store, you're like, I'm looking for polenta. And they're like, what the fuck is that? And you're like, never mind. And they're like, no, let's find it together.
Like, let's not do anything together.
And then they like search every aisle with you tagging along, like, I looked here. Like, it's not here. And then they finally, like 20 minutes later, like, guess you don't have it. You're like, thank you so much for your help.
Thanks for annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah. Oh my God, it gets so annoying. People are like, I don't get why someone would kill themselves. I'm like, I get it.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
Oh no, I think about it when I have to do something really mundane when I don't want to.
Or I can just kill myself. You're like, oh fuck, I have to wake up at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
I do it when I have to. Yeah, I have to. Fuck, I had to be at work at 6:30. I had to be up at 6:30.
Yeah.
I think about doing it sometimes when I have to play board game. I hate board games.
Really? I like board games.
I hate board games. Like I have to play them.
When do you have to play a board game?
Like girlfriends, like family members' house. Like I gotta play board game.
Hey, we're playing Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like,
we're playing Trouble.
And I'm like, how many of these fucking little pieces do I have to swallow to like just fucking die? like how many? How sharp do I have to get an apples to apples card? Like did I just cut my own head off? Like, sorry.
That makes sense. At least it's like a reasonable thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
Masons.
Yes.
Orbs.
Okay.
Orbs. Yes.
Great. There are so many more haunted businesses in Independence. You really have to check out the Ghost Walk, or at least take a look at the book. It's called Haunted. I can't keep a straight face with you laughing.
Funny.
It's called Haunted Independence, Oregon.
Okay.
And it's by...
You said her name before, didn't you?
Yeah, I did say her name before. It's by Marilyn Morton. So check out the book if you're not around this area. But if you are, do the Ghost Walk. It sounds rad. Here's a rundown of a few of the stories that stuck out to me. So there's a building located at 235 South Main Street, the same street we're sitting on. Mm-hmm. It used to be a meat market for a long time.
Ooh.
Later, it became a slew of restaurants called Nedry's. I don't know if that's how you say that.
Nedry's?
Yes.
We'll run with it.
Yes.
Nedry's.
Hazel's, Big Jim's, and Andy's. And when it was Andy's, it was a very popular hangout spot. But it has since moved to another location. Anyway, in the basement, you can still find the 2 large hooks and pulleys from when it was a meat market. There's also 2 big metal basins with wide drains and a small door at mid-wall height left behind from the meat market days. So ghostly sounds, catching images in the corner of your eye, and a general eeriness in the basement suggests that the butcher has never left.
Dude, that is scary. That's something that kind of does scare the shit out of me. That kind of does.
Yeah.
I just think about like just a fucking terrifying huge man with blood all over him and like a hatchet, a sickle.
Have you ever seen the remake of
Texas Chainsaw?
Yes, Texas Chainsaw. When he puts the body on the hook, that's the first thing I thought of. And remember, he throws salt on it?
Yeah, he cuts the dude's leg off, right? And he puts
who was it?
salt.
Was it Matthew McConaughey or like some famous actor at the time?
I don't know who it was, but I just remember that the guy just takes like...
smashes the body onto the hook, puts it right in there, cuts off the leg, and throws salt on him, unceremoniously.
But I also remember him just taking a handful of salt and just putting it on where his limb, the stump, where it's like the raw tendons, like just fucking...
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that in a long time. But that's like, actually, that was the first thing I thought of. I'm glad you've seen that, because you would have been like, no.
No,
I would have been like, anyway.
Well, there's 3 of them, isn't there?
They made one in 3D a couple years ago. It was real bad.
Okay, I think I've only... Yeah, I didn't see that one.
It was not good. It was not good.
I'll take it. I won't see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean...
Take your word for it.
My ex and I used to have a 3D TV, and we were so excited to download
fancy.
that. Yeah. Well, we got it with our tax return money on Black Friday.
Nice.
So it's just as ghetto as you'd imagine. But we were very excited about it. And we would get high and like watch movies in 3D, and it was really fun. And we got the 3D Texas Chainsaw and saved it for Halloween. So we were like, this is going to be good. It was bullshit. It was not good.
Not good at all.
No, but that original, I mean, not the original, the remake of the original that came out in like the early 2000s or something. We're talking about the same one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It had that one chick in it who was famous. Jessica Biel.
Yeah, Jessica
She was
Biel,
in it.
Yeah. And the old guy that was in both of the movies.
Oh, really? He was in the original Texas Chainsaw too?
Yeah, he was in there too.
I didn't know
the
that.
sheriff. Like the old guy that was like
that came up to them in the gas station area in the original one.
He was also in that war movie not Apocalypse Now. He's just like the old guy that always played like a military guy. He was in both he was like the grandpa. He was the one that in the second one he wasn't a sheriff, but he killed the sheriff. Put the badge on him.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I'd have to rewatch it.
Well, he's a memorable guy. He just died, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just died.
I have to rewatch. Even the 70s version of Texas Chainsaw was so good. I love those movies. Okay. Anyway. So that's a real life version of like there's still hooks in the basement of this one building. That's scary by itself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ugh.
And then there's just like ghostly occurrences that happen there. The new tenants of that building. Were you going to just say something?
I was just going to say it's extra scary because there's been a lot of death in there. Already. Like animal death.
Of carcasses.
But still death.
And it also
things have died in there by a person.
And it like desensitizes you to killing something. Like hearing it like squealing or something, and while it's like bleeding out. Like,
yeah, so maybe like butcher has butchered people there because it just so fucking desensitized by killing animals.
Yeah.
I've killed like so many animals. Like,
why not move up to people?
Yeah. Why not just one person?
I still got the hook.
10-person people.
Yeah. The new tenants of the building work with electronics, and they often find stashes of used power supply units scattered around the shop, as though ghostly hands had tried feverishly to use them. Some believe that specters are drawn to power sources like this as a way to communicate with the living. Right. And I've heard that a lot.
Well, yeah, or just all the ghosts were meth heads, and they're just like taking all the electronics around and storing them.
Also very likely.
Yeah.
It is kind of a small town. Sure. Meth addicts happen in small towns.
We could get some meth tonight.
Oh, yeah, if we were looking.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try anything once. Just kidding. I wouldn't try meth.
No, it's not the meth.
Don't worry, Mom.
Don't worry, Sarah's mom. We're not doing it.
The Hirschberg building, located at the intersection of Main and Monmouth Streets. That's this. This is Main. That says Monmouth/Corvallis.
Where does that say?
Right there,
on that sign. Yeah.
So it might be that building right there.
Building. Okay.
That bank building.
Did it have the address? No.
Oh my God! That's totally the one. It says, constructed in 1891.
Okay. Yeah.
Is believed to be the oldest continually operating bank in Polk County, Oregon.
Ooh. Okay.
It's right there in front of our face. It is now an Umpqua bank.
And then check out the second story. There's like fucking dark rooms with all the windows.
Mm-hmm. You can see in all the windows. A mannequin is just begging to jump out of it right now. Dude, wouldn't that be fucked up?
I can't stop looking at those dark-ass windows.
Keep an eye out. There's ghosts up there.
There's going to be
in this building that we are staring at, people frequently walk through cold spots, hear screams, and eavesdrop on disembodied conversations.
Damn.
I would try to walk in there, but it's a fucking bank, so we probably shouldn't.
Yeah, they're closed.
You can see the vault through the window. Like, look, it's right there.
Can. Small towns are very trusting.
Yeah. Oh, this one you read about before. The Pink House Cafe on D Street is also home to a child ghost who enjoys having her own tea parties. Visitors can hear her teacup clinking, but cannot see her.
Dude, little dead kids are the creepiest.
Yeah.
Like,
they're so, like, mischievous.
Fucking.
And, like, what living kids sing songs like that? None of them do. It's only dead kids.
Not a single one.
They slow them right down because they know they're creepy. Yeah.
Only dead kids.
The Heritage Museum, built in 1888, was originally the First Baptist Church of Independence. It's part of the National Historic District, which includes all of downtown Independence, actually. However, the ghostly history did not begin until the church was abandoned and reopened as a museum. At that time, one local writer was sitting in an office in the museum when he heard a ghostly meeting that terrified him so much he vowed to never return to the city of Independence. He described it as a church meeting where a blackball vote was being carried out. These were done usually to get an offending member kicked out of the group, so it was likely very tense.
Okay.
A blackball meeting. So, like, what they would do is people would hold a white ball and a black ball, like ping pong balls, basically, and put the one that was their vote in, like, a box. And then once everyone had voted, people could see who voted, but not how they voted. And then they would open the box and see how many black and white balls there were. And it was usually, like, immediately apparent whether or not that person could stay or not.
That's a really easy way to do it.
It is,
Like,
yeah. It's almost
simple.
like just sensible, yeah. So that's what he overheard happening, except he looked into the room and nobody was in there. But he heard, like...
He heard all of
the talk. He heard enough. It wasn't like he just heard, like, muffled voices. Like, he heard enough to know what was going on. So that was weird for him.
Whoa, yeah.
Also, in the Heritage Museum, there is a framed portrait that, when photographed, comes out with a second ghostly portrait reflected in the glass of the frame. This has actually happened several times. In the basement of the museum, disagreement can be expressed by spirits in the form of slamming and or locking doors, so much that the museum director has even started discussing plans for future changes out loud with the ghosts.
Really?
Lastly, go ahead.
They didn't know that they were talking to the ghosts?
No, it's been so
were.
Frequent that he's started it as just like a common practice.
Oh, wow.
He'll just tell the ghosts what to expect because they'll get pissed off when he changes things.
Shit.
So he's just like, just so you guys know, we're doing this thing.
Can you imagine that? Just being like...
This is now normal.
You just accept that.
Yeah.
You just be like... I have to talk to these fucking ghosts.
Yeah, I don't see them, but they're here.
Yeah, like I now I believe in that now. I believe that
so
there's
much
ghosts
so that I have to negotiate with them.
It's like the fucking mob ghosts. Yeah, that's fucking.
They're like, I don't like that, and he's like, well, you're dead.
I can't stop looking at those fucking windows.
Yeah. You know what's so cool? That happens at every single location. I always look in windows. Because I just wait to see someone standing there. If we see someone standing there, that is not a person, because that is a closed building. No one's in there anymore.
No, I mean, if there was a janitor, we would see it by now.
Yeah.
We've been sitting here for like 40 minutes or something. We would have seen it. And it's just, and then there's a tower. Because the building's on a corner, so there's a tower going up straight up from the corner. And there's one little window in the tower. And I can't stop looking at that fucking window.
And the bottom, the lights are on, but I think that's because it's a bank.
Yeah.
So they probably have cameras in there that they want the lights on to see if someone tried to break in, they can see, like, details of who the person is and stuff.
Yeah. But this, like, the second story, the lights are completely off. The windows are completely visible. You can see right in, no blinds or anything. It's just, I just can't stop. Like,
it's like
in my head,
there's
gonna be a fucking person standing there, or a face in that little window in the tower.
Oh my god, that'd be scary.
Kid face,
like, or wow. You know what I thought of? You know that one scene in The Exorcist that's like a really fast face that shows up in the corner?
Okay.
That's what I would picture in that top window. That demon face.
Demon face, yeah.
Okay, so lastly, back to that Heritage Museum.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There is a doll in the museum about 2 feet tall that's said to move on its own.
2 feet tall?
Yeah, she said about 24 inches, but I did the math.
Yeah.
2 feet.
Math.
Just wanted to ease it up.
I had no idea.
I didn't want to plagiarize, so I put it in my own words.
Very good. This is professional. Very professional.
The doll sits in an old-fashioned stroller and moves from display to display. Sometimes it moves from the floor to a shelf, and even from room to room by itself.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it is fucked up. It's very Annabelle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up, like my grandma, my mom's mom, she collected Barbie dolls.
Okay, like old-fashioned Barbies?
Old-fashioned, newer ones, and she had like $100,000 worth of Barbie dolls. And I just remember she had a room. She lived in Kentucky, and there was just like a room, just like a big fucking room, dude, lined with like to the floor to the ceiling with Barbie dolls. She had like one of those, like, you know, like an old library, like the stand that has wheels that you can move from wall to wall. She had one of those,
like a bell.
Yeah, that she could like push her way through and like grab a Barbie doll. Like, look at this fucking doll. And so just like dolls, I'm not really like. They're not scary, but they're kind of weird to me. I just kind of grew up around them and like, they're all looking at me. Again,
that's another Twilight Zone episode, the Talking Tina one.
Okay.
Remember?
No.
Oh, there's this one episode of the Twilight Zone where there's this doll that's like, I'm talking Tina. And like when everyone could see her, she'd be like, and I love you. And then when this one guy could see her alone, it would be like, I'm talking Tina, and I want to kill you. And it's just like evil doll. I love the Twilight Zone. I don't know why it keeps coming up in this episode, but I miss it.
Oh, there's been a lot of doll talk.
Rod Serling is my man. All right. Anyway. Yeah. So, but it's not just the businesses that are haunted in Independence. Plenty of residents have ghost stories of their own from living here, too.
Okay.
One resident of Independence, named Cecilia, told a story of her childhood home on Main Street, which she described as beautiful and inviting in the daylight, but something very different after the sun went down. When her family moved into this home, the previous residents left in the middle of the night, leaving everything they owned, including food in the fridge and pictures on the walls.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So they just fucking booked it.
They're like, done.
We're fucking out of here.
Doors would open and shut in this home on their own. Many rooms sparked Cecilia's curiosity and terror. She described one particular room as a small room within a room, finished with no windows, that locked from the outside. So once locked in, someone within the room would have no way of getting out. It was said that this room, no matter how warm the temperature was outside, always remained so cold that you could see your breath while you were in there.
Damn.
Awful wrenching sounds and thuds were once heard from another room in the house, and when Cecilia and her mom and brother entered the room, they found the window wide open. The strange thing was, no matter how hard they attempted to close it, the window wouldn't budge.
Really?
Ultimately, they had to use a hammer to get the latch from the window to finally settle back into place.
Okay.
So you just like picture how hard they were like, just grab a fucking hammer. Let's just hammer this bitch into place.
Right.
That's what they had to do. Moments later, after they left the room, the wrenching sound was heard again, and when they returned, all the doors and that same window in the room were open once again.
Damn.
Another odd room in the same house also remained freezing and, strangely, had nails pounded into the ceiling.
Nails? And they don't know why.
They don't know why.
They're just that there was nails there.
Yeah, they were like, that's weird.
Sorry, I keep on looking at those fucking
You
windows.
keep looking at that window. I keep looking at that window.
Oh, there's another window.
See how there's like drapes in front of it, but you can see like poke through?
Yeah.
I keep looking.
There's another window. Maybe have the fucking
windows. There's a window there. There's a window there.
The one behind us is creepy because you're right. There is drapes or something. And it looks like at one time someone did like kind of like look through.
A little peek
and
through.
It's kind of like
there's a spot for it too.
Yeah. I kind of like going back to what you were talking about. Like, why is it when ghosts come around, it's a cold feeling? Do you know anything about that? Have you researched about that? Like, why?
I have no idea.
Like, there's just been like at least a second story.
Oh, there's multiple of them here too.
Yeah, like that. Like it's like cold. Mm-hmm. And you watch in movies too. Like it gets cold when a ghost or a spirit, some kind of entity comes back. It always gets cold. Or
even like in Independence, there's a lot of stories of rooms where you can see your breath. It's like that cold.
Right.
But in a lot of places, it's like kind of tingly, where like your hair on the back of your neck stands up or something. You know, I don't know why it is. Maybe it's like a way for people to recognize that they're there.
Right. I've always just wondered like if there's something that has like supernatural. The reason why, you know, if someone has a theory about that, it's just a recurring thing.
I'm sure somebody does. And like the longer I do this show, the more I learn things that I'm like, I didn't know that.
Right.
Like at first I started joking about the witching hour, and then I learned it's actually 3 a.m. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. But at first I like made a joke about it, and then I realized like, oh no, that actually is 3. I like heard it enough times that I was like, oh, that's the witching hour.
That's the witching hour.
And then later on someone would be like, and always the weirdest thing at 3 a.m. I'd be like, that's the witching hour. And people would be like, what? And I'd be like, that's what it's called. It's the witching hour.
Why 3?
I don't know.
Was it like things in 3s, like 666?
Maybe. Like there's 3 6s.
Yeah.
Or Father, Ghost, Holy Spirit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why it's 3 a.m. It's just... I'm sure I'll find out. Now that we've asked this question, the way this happens is like over the next few ghost story interviews I do, or more over the research I do for the next few episodes, I'll be like, that's why it's 3. So I'll message you on Facebook and be like, I found it.
Found out why, yeah.
That's what it is.
Just some things I'm curious about, you know?
Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh yeah, nails pounded in the ceiling. There was another room in the basement that was padlocked from the outside.
Trailer.
Yeah, the strangest room, however, Jesus.
I'm trying to do a podcast. Fucking trailer, you heck.
We're trying to get sponsors.
Stop trying to scare us.
Stop fucking this up for me. I need to make money on this.
Go fucking hillbilly.
Okay, the strangest room, however, was the room directly behind the fridge. The fridge stood in front of a door that had been boarded up, which is never a good sign.
Yep, all right, yeah.
Cecilia could tell the room was very large, and there were stairs on the other side of the house that led to a blank wall, in place of what was once another entrance to this room. Apparently, the homeowners, Cecilia's parents, were told to never try to enter that room, but were never told why. After Cecilia moved out of the home, she continued to have nightmares about it for years. She would dream that she was trapped within the house and digging through possessions that did not belong to her family.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
So I have a few other ghost stories of residents that lived here. One resident talked about growing up in Independence. They said that their parents rented several homes here throughout the course of their childhood, and that multiple people in their family experienced events they described as frightening. One such event, told by the resident, who preferred to remain anonymous, was enough to motivate them to move clear out of the state of Oregon.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, fuck this entire state, I'm out. They woke up one morning with what appeared to be hickey marks all over their arms and the backs of their legs.
Ew.
I know.
So the ghost was just like a 7th grader? It was just like an 8th grade?
Just picturing something sucking on you.
Yeah.
All over you. The backs of your legs and your arms while you're sleeping. You don't even know what's happening.
Back of the leg thing kind of creeps me out.
I know, me too. All of it. And they said that they like didn't even notice it until they looked in the mirror, like getting in the shower or something. And then they were like, what the fuck? And then they looked around the rest of their body and they're like, what the fuck? And they didn't even,
Dude, that'd be so scary.
Yeah.
Just looking in the mirror, just being like, you see this all over your fucking body. Oh.
You know you slept alone and fuck that. They also described the frequent bizarre occurrence of sharing the same nightmares with other citizens of the town, including vivid nightmares surrounding the old mill area on F Street and the end of 4th Street near the Hemlock Loop.
Okay.
Yeah. Who the fuck knows where that is? But I figured maybe we saw the bank right in front of us.
Right there.
I figured one of these would be like, holy shit, that's right there. And it happened. So that's cool. Right. One resident named Kay described hearing disembodied footsteps running up and down the upstairs hallway in her home. When she brought this up to the former tenants, they said they had frequently heard the footsteps as well. Mm-hmm. Kevin, a previous resident of Independence, claims that he will never return after something he experienced one night. He woke up to find himself face to face with the ghostly figure of the most beautiful woman he had ever seen.
So it was scary, but also kind of cool.
He was like, I have a boner, but like I'm scared.
I have a ghosty boner.
Yeah. He said she was wearing a bright white nightgown and she appeared to be different colors, reds, purples, and blues. Which immediately in my mind, that sounds scary, but maybe that's because I know it turns scary.
Right.
But maybe he's picturing like hair and eyes, different colors and changing.
Just biracial.
Yeah. No, I'm not racist. Her eyes were big and her hair was curled, is how he described her. As he gazed at this beautiful apparition, he says her eyes turned evil and her face became terribly angry. She began to choke him and he couldn't breathe for almost 2 minutes.
Damn.
He said that he could tell something here did not want him here and he left and just never came back and he never will. Because of that. Which it sounds fucking terrifying. I'd be so scared if that happened to me.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
No, me neither. Yeah, Kevin, I get it.
Yeah. Listen, Kev.
Kev, you seem like a reasonable guy.
Yeah.
She sounded really hot.
Yeah.
We've all been fooled by hot people at first, and then you're like, they're evil, they don't want me here. Better get the fuck out.
They're biracial.
There's lots of reds and purples and blues working in here that I'm not used to, but I'm open-minded.
I'll give it a shot.
My last ghost story comes from another resident of Independence who preferred to remain anonymous. This individual told a terrifying story about their childhood home on Gun Club Road. Real quick, someone's getting pulled over right in front of us.
Yeah, that is the third one.
The third person?
There was lights up to the right.
Oh, I didn't see those ones.
And then, that's the third one.
This one right in front. Okay, well, good thing that I'm sobering up throughout this episod before we drive
have the
home.
time.
Yeah, that's
we're good
the
now.
point. We had chicken wings, so everything's fine. We went with the nuclear.
Got that nitrous, the fucking, is that what you call it?
Yeah, that nitrous.
The nitrous that got in 60 seconds.
Really
the Fast and the
fuck
Furious.
You up at first, but it'll die out quick. It'll take care of that classy Chardonnay you ordered at a dive bar on a Wednesday night.
They used the wrong glass.
They did. No, actually, they didn't. It was a wine glass.
No, but it wasn't. It was a red wine glass, wasn't it?
I don't know. There was a difference.
Yeah, there is.
The one without a stem is supposed to be red?
No, it could be either or. Like, usually red wine glasses are bigger and wider.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, the aroma.
Oh, because it has to, like, breathe or something?
Yeah, and then the white wine glasses are smaller.
I didn't know that.
Breathe as much.
Oh.
I'm a nerd, sorry. I don't even really like wine, I just know that.
I love wine, but it all tastes the same to me.
Yeah.
People are like, this is more of an oaky, and I'm like, no, it's fine. Yeah. Like, I mainly can tell if it's too fruity, I don't like it. And if it's, like, too sparkly, don't like that either.
If you drink enough of it, it'll get you drunk. So.
Oh yeah,
no matter what
and
it
gets you drunk. Like, oh my god, what is that? That's
Shut
an
up.
owl. Look,
Shut up.
look, right there. It's moving right there.
I always fucking saw it.
It's like that was like a barn owl.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Oh.
It's right there.
Look, that's a barn owl, isn't it?
Yeah, that was an owl for sure.
Look, holy shit.
It's flying around.
Yeah, it is. Do you think it's gonna find a mouse?
It's gonna find a ghost. That's a ghost owl. It's a fucking ghost owl. It's not an owl. It's a fucking ghost owl.
That's so cool. I don't think I've ever seen an owl like in a town like this.
I'm cold. It's a fucking ghost. It's a ghost owl.
Look in the window. Just kidding. That was cool.
Yeah, that was rad, actually.
Yeah, that was way cool. Do you think that was a barn owl? It was like white.
Yeah. I mean, the difference between a barn owl and an owl
and any old owl
and a street owl. It's fucking gangster ass street owl.
The one gangster ass owl.
No, I'm just a simple owl from the barn. What'd you say, motherfucker? See,
don't look at me wrong, though.
It's a tattoo of a small owl on my owl face.
That tear? Yeah, his name was Tyrone. I remember him.
I ate his throat out with my owl beak.
He wasn't no mouse, but he crossed me.
No, I'll eat you too, motherfucker.
Do you hear me trying to sound gangster?
Yeah, I was scared.
I
was very scared.
I come from a long line of mob.
I know. I am terrified.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, this guy grew up on Gun Club Road. Their parents had moved into the house.
Gun Club Road.
Speaking of which.
Fucking hellbillies.
Their parents moved into the house in 1978 and didn't move out until the early 90s. It started mildly enough. The resident described, because it was an anonymous, I don't know if it's male or female, they described nightly visits from a ghost that they had named Beth, who would sit on the bed next to them. They would see the blankets move down right next to them and feel the weight of the spirit sitting beside them, but would not see the figure. When they described these experiences to their family, they were simply shrugged off and told it must be their imagination or a nightmare. It wasn't until the resident's grandfather came to visit and told the family that the cat kept waking him up, jumping on the bed, that the rest of the family began to believe in the ghost, seeing as how the family did not have a cat or any other pet for that matter.
Dang.
If you do have a cat, cats do fucking do that. My cat woke me up at 4:40 a.m. this morning, just yelling at me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a dog, and dogs do that too. I mean,
jump on the bed.
Yeah.
They just demand attention. And I don't know if it's the same with dogs. I don't think so. But with cats, you start giving it to them and they're like, I'm good.
Oh, yeah. The dogs are like, just give me more.
Ray will demand attention and then I just be like, okay, come here. And she'll be like, no, I'm okay. And she'll walk away. I'm like, fuck you.
No.
I'm like, what do you need? Do you need me to clean your litter box? I'll clean it. 4 in the morning. I don't have to wake up for 2.5 hours. Let me clean it for you right now. Yeah.
No, dogs are different. Like, my dog will just wake me up by looking at me. She's just looking at me.
You just feel a presence.
I hear her breathing, and I open my eyes, and she's just like looking at me.
Like, Jesus.
And the side, like, the side I sleep on, so we have sides.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course.
You know, and side I sleep on, and I just is like right by the door. Dog just walks in, sits down, just. And I just feel something breathing and looking at me and moving its head like that.
Just urgent.
Yeah, just like, what do you want?
Just love.
I just want you to look at me.
just give me love. Look at me. Yeah, that's what Ray does, except once I start giving her attention, she's like, it's okay. I don't really need it.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how you're doing.
Psych.
Yeah. It's like, I've seen this picture online that's like a cat coming up to an owner. It's like, pet me, pet me. And then they go down to pet him and they like bend their back down and they go, with your eyes. That's how cats
with your eyes.
That's exactly how cats
you can't touch.
That's the cop. Don't look at him in the eyes.
You're a fucking cat.
Like, give me attention. You're arrested. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the grandpa was like, that cat kept waking me up. There's no cat. Okay. Activity persisted in the house for the first few months after moving in. Toilets being flushed when nobody was even on that level of the house. faucets turning on, and personal items being relocated to strange places in the house, but nothing terribly sinister, until the resident made the mistake of using a Ouija board. The resident says they were a teenager and describes this event as a stupid mistake. Much like we would describe drinking a lot of, like, Four Loko on a Thursday night before you have English class at 8 a.m.
Who hasn't done that?
Stupid mistake.
Stupid mistake.
But in his position, it was using a Ouija board. Or hers, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
2018.
Yeah. Could be theirs. I don't know.
Theirs. Right.
In August of 1987, the resident's parents left for a cruise to celebrate their 25th anniversary. The resident took out the Ouija board with their cousins and asked to communicate with the spirit that they called Beth. The spirit said her name was, in fact, Elizabeth. She said she died in the 1800s at the hands of her father on the property that their house sat on. About 15 minutes later, Beth went silent and the room fell freezing cold once again. Yep. So cold that they could see their own breath even on a hot August night. Just then, the indicator is what she called it, but it's like, you know, on a Ouija board, the like thing you move with your hands, the like spirit detector.
Yeah.
That thing.
The little triangle with the
little window circle. That flew off the board 5 feet in the air and slammed against the staircase. And at that point, they heard the baby crying upstairs. So the resident's cousin had a baby that was staying in the upstairs. Okay. They heard the baby crying. When they went upstairs, they found the baby being dragged under the bed by an unseen force.
Whoa.
They grabbed the baby's legs and pulled it back, rescuing it after a struggle. And actually, the resident said their aunt was with them and was grabbing the baby's legs back. And the aunt looked back at them and was like, something's pulling him. So, like, they couldn't see it, but, like, they were fighting against this force. Thankfully, without any injuries to the baby. Over the next few years that they stayed living in that house, horrific and evil occurrences regularly happened. Growling and whispers could be heard throughout the house. Apparitions would appear on the staircase. Sometimes people would feel a poke or a hard tap on the tops of their heads. Doors would open and slam shut, and the doorknobs would rattle violently.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. First of all, it's a well-built baby.
The baby was fortunately very buff.
Yeah, like, I mean, just like not strong baby, but
yeah, it had been doing P90X for months.
Yeah, like a good core on that baby. Fucking good, like a baby crunchers,
just going to town, just easing up on the milk. They like bulk up some weeks.
Just fucking creatined out baby. And I just kind of meant too, like, whoever made that baby made it well. That's good. Yeah.
Kudos to that resident's cousin
for making that
good job.
Very sturdy baby.
Yeah, sturdy. And God knows most babies are not sturdy. They are squishy little guys.
Easy to rip in half.
Easy to rip in half, especially if you're pulling against an unseen force.
Yeah. That's scary. You could feel it pulling back.
Yeah.
Like
but you could look under the bed and not see anything there, but you're struggling against it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And all that's really scary, like the tap on the head, the pokes, the violently shaking doorknobs.
And the thing about it is, like, all of these stories are from residents that, one, this is lazy, but I got all of those stories from one website of people submitting stories, but there were so many that I was like, this will cover it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. One, those are people choosing to share, and two, those are people sharing on the same website.
Yeah.
There are so many haunted stories from this town, it's insane. And then the stories I shared from businesses from the Ghost Walk, that's only a few out of many.
Right.
So if you go on the walk or read the book, there's so many haunted stories here. It's like every building here is haunted. In fact, this one in front of us that is like old-fashioned, the Coca-Cola sign out front.
Fountain. Yeah.
I'm sure that one's fucking haunted. It looks like it.
Oh, yeah.
But they all are. I mean, we're on Main Street, and this is like the most haunted stretch of town.
Right.
Because like all those buildings on this street are haunted.
Yeah, the bank building where that fucking ghost owl is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that went.
Yeah.
That'd be
Back
sweet
to
if
hell.
we saw it. Like, yeah, going straight back to hell. Those angelic-looking angels.
Yeah.
Those barn owls are beautiful. Is that the ones that are
fucking
all
demons.
white like that?
Oh, I don't know. Or like the...
I can look it up. It's the future.
Because there's like the... That's true. There's barn owls, and then I thought the like snow owls were all
Oh,
white.
maybe that's what it was. Like a snow owl?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very...
Yeah, snowy owl.
There we go. Okay.
Do you think that's what it was?
Maybe. It was light in color like that.
Oh, that one's cute. Is that real? That's a knitted owl. That's not even a real owl.
It is a knitted owl. It's a good looking owl. That owl. That owl looks all fucked up. That owl looks like it can't read good. That owl has one fucking like yellow ass eye.
That majestic bird.
That is a drunk ass owl.
But it looks pissed.
Oh yeah, it looks drunk. It's like one fucking bright cheese log.
Oh shit! Oh my god, we're dicks.
Why is it?
The caption says, "Snowy owl fights for life after dramatic rescue."
It's alright. It's an animal. It doesn't have feelings. Everyone knows that.
But like, look how like sinister and majestic that one looks.
D. I got hit in the head too many times.
Fought for its life in a battle, and we're just like, look at this retarded ass.
I had too many owl beers.
We just ate chicken wings instead.
Yeah. Made fun of an owl. You Down syndrome bird. You flat face, 2-eyed, 2-colored eye ass having dumbass bird.
But then like this one, that's a white owl versus a snowy owl.
I bet you that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, cute.
Sitting here looking at owls.
I know, that's what I thought we saw.
Maybe
the
it
white
was.
owl. This one says spiritual meaning of a white owl. Do you want to know what it means?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see what it means. White owls appear in many different kinds of mythology, most prominently as a messenger of the gods or underworld.
Oh.
The white owl can be present as a spirit animal appearing in dreams or everyday life.
It's fucking demon birds.
A sign of things to come.
Well, we did see that demon owl fly out of that window.
We did. That totally happened. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And also for the road.
That fucking Down syndrome owl.
Yeah.
Bloodshot. Cheese eye.
Heroically fought for its life. And we're like, look at this dumb looking. Someone punched it in its face. And we're just like, look how stupid it looks.
We got into a fucking bar fight.
We haven't been in a fight since we were in like 6th grade. And we're just, well, what do you think about independence?
It looks just like a small, as far as I can tell, we're on Main Street, like we said, and it just a small little town. That has some weird, maybe like evil little like creepy history. Mm-hmm. And
it's a very small town.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town like this.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, the town I lived in it's gotten bigger, more people.
In Redmond?
In Redmond and Ben. And, but it was a lot like this, kind of small, like simple ass people. Fucking, a bunch of idiots. Fucking Down syndrome owls,
Yeah, they got punched in their dumb faces. Their dumb, prolific faces. I hope you enjoyed your tour through Independence, Oregon with me and my super fun guest, Alex Rios. Good news! Merchandise is up on the website. If you're interested in a hoodie or a tank top, a t-shirt, a hat, maybe a koozie, check it out at litdarkpodcast.com. That's LITDARK podcast.com. If you love this show and haven't already, please subscribe. Rate us 5 stars and write something you love about this show. It helps us out so much. Special thanks for this episode goes to Sarah Schneider, my manager, Jonathan Cooper, my graphic designer, Randall Lawrence, my producer, Nick Wilson at Bridge City Media and Design for making all of our amazing new merchandise, Dan Stutzman for being you and all you do, Alex Rios, my guest, and all of you for listening.